Hey you guys, Loyal Logic coming at you with another video. I'm sorry I've been away for a few days. I've been dealing with some stuff, but what I'd like to talk about today is something real important. I want to talk about what it means to be truthful, and if that really is all that matters. And this is going to be a little bit of rant, so if you don't want to hear a rant, go ahead, go to the next video. But you know, sometimes when you tell people the truth, sometimes it's that they don't want to hear it, it's that they can't hear it. It doesn't make sense to them. They won't, even though they know it's true, they don't want to believe it. They want to see a light at the end of the tunnel. They want to see a way out. And you have to really push through and be consistent, because the problem I see a lot of people, and this is throughout society, throughout the world, is that people will become pushovers. That they will give up on telling the truth because they feel, well, it's not worth it anymore. They're not listening. I'm just going to go with the flow because I don't want to hear the problem. I'm becoming an issue. And I really want to advise you not to do that. And the reason I want to is because you still have to live with yourself. You still have to know that you did the right thing and you spoke up for whatever that is. You know, because if you go with them and something happens, then they can look to you and blame you as well and say, well, why didn't you tell me this? Why didn't you tell me that? And then you'll say, well, I did try to tell you so many years ago. Versus you being consistent and telling the truth no matter what they say, even if it could damage your relationship. And I hate to say that, but it's very important because, again, if something goes wrong, it's going to hurt your relationship more and actually paint you in a bad light because you went along with the truth that they were believing in when it wasn't valid truth. It was their version of the truth. And you know, you have to be consistent. And, you know, it's not an easy road. It's not by any means to be this way. And it's not that, again, the truth doesn't matter. They know what you're saying. That's the thing. It's just like liberals. And I always go to politics, but I'd say it's just like liberals. You tell them the facts, and they will ignore you. But they know. There are liberals out there that do know that they're full of shit. But they have their reasons. They don't want to be alone. They don't want to be in a tribe that's not willing to accept them. You know, maybe they think that the right's not going to be accepting of their lifestyle, whatever. So they're fearful. So even though they know what they're believing in is a lie, they have to take it as a truth and have to push your truth out. And this happens all the time. It happens all the time. It's a matter of, like, you tell somebody, and it's the truth, you tell somebody smoking causes cancer. Stop smoking. You stop smoking. And you tell them for so many years to stop smoking and get better, get active. And you tell it to, you know, the family members of that loved one. And they don't want to listen. They don't want to listen. It's too hard. It's their decision. And then what ends up happening? The person ends up dying. And I'm not saying for you to go prancing around, oh, I told you so, I told you so. But remember, you still have to live with yourself. So you going home and knowing, well, hey, and just even by yourself, or if you have a wife or something, you can say, hey, I did the right thing, I spoke up. And that's not to be high horse and virtue. I've always said don't do that. But it's a matter to reassert that you, in a way, that you're a good person, you're doing the right things. Now, I'm not saying, oh, that's great, that person died, but if you know the person's going to die, if you know they're going to die, if they don't change their ways, and you know that, and you can see the lining in the sand, and you don't speak up, I hate this, in a way, you're semi-responsible. And then we have this, and people are like, God, logic, that's a stretch. Well, no, it's not, because we have this, and this will be my next video, kind of, I'll touch on that. We have this thing in our society of disconnecting. If it's not us directly or it's not our family, it's not our problem. So, you know, if you see somebody and they're getting their ass kicked on the side of the street, and it's like a old person or young person, you see people driving by versus people stopping. And that's my point with the person dying of cancer or smoking themselves to death, living an unhealthy lifestyle. At least speak up. I'm not saying sit there and hound them unless it's a loved one that's close to you, then you have to. You can't go along with the bad behavior because it's too hard. And obviously, again, you can't force anybody to do anything. Sadly, I wish you could in some instances with certain people in your family. But when you don't have control, you don't have control. So your next best option is speaking up and being very, very forward with it. I don't know how else to say it because you can't really dance around it. You can be nice, you can be angry. You can try different tactics, but at the end of the day, the people I'm talking about, they're not going to get it. And that's my ultimate point with this video, is that it doesn't matter how true you are, how honest you are, how angry when telling it, it won't matter. Truth does not matter always. There's people, and I used to have that mindset that, the facts are the facts and that's what really matters. And it's like, well, no, it's not what matters, because it doesn't matter how much I tell that liberal is always going to believe that Trump is a racist bigot. And then when you call them on their shit, they're not going to be able to tell you. And when they do, it's fabricated evidence. Just like the person that's dying, when you approach the other person, you say, they're living an unhealthy lifestyle. They say, well, they don't want to go to physical therapy. They don't want to get better. It's hard. I'm doing all I can. And then you point out what they can do, and then they say, I don't want to deal with it. Get out of my face. It happens. It's all over the country, folks. It's happening with all, from people dying to people at work. When you go to them as a manager and you tell them, hey, you need to step up. I mean, managers can't almost do that now because they're afraid against sexual harassment, racial charges, and you don't believe me, folks, go look into it. There's tons of cases being brought forward by people that are just completely ludicrous, where a manager would go and say something, and then that person goes and claims bullshit. Be it sexism, racism, and the person gets fired without looking into it. So it doesn't matter what the truth is. It just matters the path. So the company will fire them because they don't want to deal with the problem. Just like the dying person. The person that's taking care of them doesn't want to deal with the problem. They just want to patch it up. So, they'll give them drugs like morphine if they're dying, which is horrible. That's the last fucking thing you should give anybody that's dying if you don't know. Morphine is a horrible, horrible drug. I'm very anti-drug. I don't care if you do them, it's your life. But if you have a loved one that's dying, folks, the last thing you should be giving them is fucking morphine. Don't believe that bullshit that they tell you. Because remember, kind of spinning off, the medical industry in the last 56 years has been hijacked. There's lots of people going back, to the 1890s that was talking about morphine and, its properties. I mean, so it's not something they've been talking about this stuff on how it affects the human body. It's a little bit of rant, but morphine's not good. But when you talk about this stuff, you're right. You don't, and this is what I want to say. You don't have to have someone back you up, but it's always good. I've been fortunate enough to have my bestest friend and business partner that has always backed me up. He trusts me 100% and I trust him. So it is important to have, and that's what I'm going to get in my next video, but it is important to have someone there, if it's a wife, a husband, a best friend, a business partner, but it's good to have someone there backing you up. And that is kind of important, because then at some point you will start questioning yourself, and you'll almost go crazy in a way, because you won't understand and why people aren't believing you. You're a good person, you're doing the right things, you're living a good life, you're being nice, you're trying to be angry, you're trying all these different tactics that get people to listen, and no one is. But if you don't have someone on your right sides, telling you, hey, no, you're doing the right things, loyal, you're being a good person, don't worry about them. They're dumb NPCs. You know what I'm saying? It does help a little bit, but there are people that don't, and that's what I'm going to get in my next video. There are people that don't have people like that, so that's why, it's our job as good people that care about people to reach out to those people, because, I'm going to be fine. I'm always going to at least have one person to talk to, and that's all you need. You don't need a big group of people, but it helps. Obviously, I love all you guys, but you don't need that. It's a big misconception in the world that you need a big group of people around you, and the more the merrier. And yes, the more the merrier, but you don't need more. One's good enough. It's just interesting to me. We live in a very weird time because you go back 20, 30, 40 years, and the expert was the expert. I said that in one of my videos. The expert was the expert. You never questioned the expert, the person that knew what they were talking about. If you were smarter, you were smarter. No one challenged you because that's just the way it was. But nowadays everybody challenges everybody. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You have a cell phone that can tell you anything, so everybody thinks they're political pundit, a medical scientist. They think they're just the best of the best of the best, and they're the smartest of the smartest. And that's just not the case, folks. There are people that are just stupid. But unfortunately, these stupid people think they're smart. And, unfortunately, good people like you and myself, we're the ones that take the brunt of it because there's more stupid people out there than there are smart people. It's just how it is. If there was more smart people than dumb people, our society would not be in the shape it is. I mean, we're doing good, but it could be a lot better. So it does make it hard when everybody's a genius. Everybody is the best of the best. So I just want to tell you guys that the truth doesn't matter as much anymore. It's all about how you take it. And I'm sorry, and I don't understand how we got here. You can blame it on the internet, of course, but it's more of just people. It's like I said on a stream, on Coach Red Pill stream, it's a matter of, people have become, it's like I said in the Boogie video too, is that people believe the internet now. So, they believe it's reality. So they go online and they'll go on Twitter and they'll sit there and they'll act like a fucking genius. They'll have 10, 20,000 followers and they'll get all these retweets. But in the real world, they're not shit. And so they carry that persona they have online into the real world. And it's not healthy because they're a fucking dumbass. But because their ego's been stroked online so much, which isn't a bad thing, but it is if you abuse it. If you take it and you abuse your ego, it's going to be bad. It's going to be unchecked. And that's what guys like myself, I'm not trying to brag, we used to do. We used to be, put these people in check and let them know, no, dude, you're a fucking dumbass. I love you, but you're a dumbass. And that's just the way of life. You're not smart because you think you're smart. That's just not how the world works, folks. And it's not just, and I want to make this point. Just because you're dumb doesn't make you a bad person. And I see a lot of that online. When you say someone's dumb, they act like you're being mean and call them a bad person. Well, no. That's not the case at all. You can be dumb. I have a friend, John, dumb as rocks. Dumb as rocks. He's got Asperger's. He's one of my I swear, one of my dearest friends. I've known him since high school. And I love the man. He's a really good person. I've had him. He had keys to my house when I went to New York, and he had keys to my office. That's how much I trusted him. But other people look at him like he's a fucking idiot. Well, he is an idiot, but he's smart, if that makes sense. It's like he knows, like he knows. It's kind of hard to explain, because it's like when people say smart and dumb and, intelligent, a lot of things get, mixed together. Can the guy tell you, what 1 + 1 is? Yeah. Can the guy tell you about geopolitics? No. Can he drive a car? Yes. You see what I'm saying? Is there's a level of smart and dumb. He's not completely mentally challenged. Most people with Asperger's aren't unless it's extremely severe. But that's all my point is. I want people to realize that. So when I'm saying, someone's dumb, facts are facts, folks. The truth is the truth now. Of course, like I said, it doesn't matter anymore. The truth is now being spun on both sides, the right and the left and the middle. To fit whatever reality they want to live in. And that's very dangerous. It's not good for anybody. Because the truth is the truth. Facts are facts. I just don't want any people to think that, I don't love you guys. I love you guys completely. And you guys have been nothing but very supportive. I just want to let you know that, even in the hard times, I will be here. I will be here. There's other people that have been going through some of the stuff I've been going through this week. They would take time off, and I don't need to. I don't need to. I love you guys. I want to create content. I want to, not use that to leverage, and that's what I see a lot online. There's a couple people know what's going on, and it's funny because I probably earned more respect with those couple people. Not a great thing, but, because they probably thought, God, Loyal, he hasn't even tweeted about this. You wouldn't be able to tell that he's going through some stuff. And me even mentioning it now, I'm not even, I'm just mentioning to let you guys know that there are people out there that will twist the truth. And you really have a duty, not just to yourself, but the people around you, because those people are affected by you and what you talk about. You have a duty to interpret the truth as valid or invalid. It's important because there's a lot of things online you see, and it's all well and good. People have the right to free speech, but like I said, you have the right to walk away, and you have the right to call those people out. And I'm not saying you even got to call them out, but when you're reading something or looking at somebody, you really have to take that into account, because we live in a world today that even if someone has good intentions, they necessarily might not. And it's weird to me, because we used to live in a time, again, where the person that knew and said, hey, the person's dying, they need to do this, that, or another, and they had no ulterior motive, that person was, held up like, man, Loyal's preaching to the high heavens, that person's dying, we need to do this, that, and another, and we'll get this person back up and going. Now it doesn't matter. You're looked at like a fucking idiot because some doctor somewhere or some person online or their own ego. They feel they know more, even though they have nothing to back up their claims that they do. It's weird, folks. It is what it is. It's sad. This is the world we live in now, where the truth doesn't matter. It only matters to the reality you live in. And even then, sometimes people skew it. They go back and forth. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's outrageous. So, I love you guys very much. Sorry the video was kind of like, I'm not, it's the only time hopefully I'll be kind of glum. But I'm not really that glum, because I love you guys. You guys were great. Loyal Logic, talk to you soon.